Hello there and welcome to the Card Grotto. Today I have 5 new, 5 old and 5 potential craft favourites to share with you. So to start off with, I'm going to talk about my 5 new favourite products of 2019. So first of all, these are the Tailored Expressions blender brushes. I really enjoyed using blender brushes this year for ink blending. I do still use the blending tools a lot, but like I said, I really enjoyed using blender brushes as well. I was umming and ahhing about whether to purchase these ones from Tailored Expressions. I do have some others from other companies and Amazon, kind of like unbranded ones as well, and I really love those, but I'm really glad that I made the investment with these Tailored Expressions ones. I love that they've got the white bristles. They're really soft. I know a lot of craft companies since have been making the blender brushes with white bristles as well, but I love these ones because they have the color coding on the handles. The amount of times I've picked up brushes what I didn't mean to, and they've got a different colour on them and I had no idea. So I'm really glad, and of course they just look nice as well. I know that shouldn't matter, but it is nice that they look nice. I do store them in a drawer in the InterDesign drawer organiser, but I know that you can get a kind of spinning carousel type thing and they do look really pretty on that, but I like just to have them in the drawer. These blend so beautifully with inks. I do often use them with distress inks, but you can use them with other inks, especially dye inks that you wouldn't usually think would blend very well. And they do blend really nicely with these brushes. I can clean them quite easily with water. I tend to just use water for the first few washes. And then after a while, I tend to wash them with a little bit of soap as well, just some really mild soap. And then there is this thing that you can purchase to help wash them as well, but to be honest with you, these wash out really nicely and you don't really need that. Next up is the Cricut Maker. I was kindly sent this by Cricut, but I have to say I absolutely love it. I really enjoyed doing something just slightly different this year and made some different things. So I made some treat boxes for Easter. I did also create a cushion cover, which was really nice, just something a little bit different. I created a design on a vest top, and I also used it for various different cards. I didn't share them all over on my blog, but I did use it quite a bit throughout the year. So really enjoyed using that. Next up is the Picket Fence Distress Spray Stain. This didn't come out in 2019, I don't believe. I think it came out quite some time before that, but I really only just discovered it mainly in 2019 and really enjoyed using it. I used it a lot for backgrounds. I created this kind of night sky background with the clearly besotted hippo, and I just absolutely love the effect of it. I managed to get a really good photo and it kind of shows up really nicely. I did use some sparkle spray on that, but I loved how that picket fence spray looked. I think it's really great for galaxies. I kind of splattered it on here as well, which was nice. And then I also really liked using it for snow as well. This Mama Elephant card, I used it in the background just to add a bit of kind of texture to that. Next up is the Simon Says Stamp Sentiment Label dies. I love this set because the sizes range from tiny, like a really thin strip, to a really large strip. So if you didn't want to purchase any other sentiment kind of labels, you wouldn't need to. You can just use this one set. I have to admit, I do have a few different sets and I do like them all, but this one in particular I love. I also love that it comes with the kind of fishtail banner dies as well, so you can add them on if you want to. So most of the time I cut the strip and then just cut it up the two sides off with a guillotine. Generally I don't make strips as this long, but it's nice just to have that fishtail there as well. And this is just a couple of examples of how I've used it. This one is one of the larger ones, but mainly I did use the smaller one quite a lot just for sentiment strips, like I said. Especially with the embossing on black cardstock. I really like that look. Next up is the Reverse Confetti Grid Stitched Tag die. I absolutely love this die. It's a really nice size. It's quite large for a tag. I really love the rounded corners on it, but I especially love the stitch detail and that it's kind of like in a grid formation. It's just something a little bit different. I do make quite a lot of tags and I just love that kind of added stitching detail to it. This is a couple of examples that I used with the reverse confetti stamps and dies as well. I really love that die. So next I'm going to talk about 5 older products that I've continued to use throughout 2019. And the first one here is the Hero Arts Nesting Circle Infinity dies. I am on the creative team, but I purchased these way before I joined the creative team, and I have to say I've used them for years and still absolutely love them. I love that they range from quite a large size to a really tiny little size there in the center. I love also that they are quite close in size between each other, so there's not much of a gap between them. A lot of companies do have quite a big gap in between them, so these are really nice if you want to kind of layer them up as well. I often used them with embossing as well, so you can see like the embossed line on the outside of the inner one that I die cut. I really like that look. And then I also used them a lot for ink blending, so I used them for masking. And this leads me to my next product, and this is Inkadinkado stamping mask paper. Again, I've used this a lot throughout the years, and I've always come back to this brand. I know that there are probably lots of other brands that are really nice, but I love that this one comes in a little pouch, so you can keep all of the offcuts in it as well. It's got a really nice adhesion to it. It sticks down really nicely, but also you can pick it up really easily as well when it doesn't rip your paper or cardstock. I love that it's white and you can just stamp on it. It stamps out really nicely if you want to use it with stamps, but also if you want to use it with die cutting as well. So this is just a couple of examples where I've used it with stamps, and then like I said, I also used it with ink blending as well. So I die cut an actual panel and cut the circle out from that for that background. Next up is the Clearly Besotted Tiny Type set. This has been my most used stamp set for many years now. I absolutely love it. It's got so many different sentiments in the set, but I really love that they are a small size, but also the font is really kind of easy to read, and I love just the capital letters of them. I don't know why, but I absolutely love this set, and I've used it a lot this year. This is just a couple of examples of how I've used it. I mainly use it with sentiment strips, so the 2 there, but also I like to just stamp the sentiments directly onto the card base as well. And like I said, just a range of different sentiments in that set, something for all year round. Next up, another product that I have continued to use is Copic markers. This probably is my colouring medium, my go-to colouring medium. Probably because I've been using them for many years, I've kind of got used to them, but I still absolutely love using Copic markers. I do like to create backgrounds with them, as well as colouring in like critters and images and things like that. This is just a few examples of how I've used them this year. Sometimes I find them easier than ink blending, but it just depends on how I'm feeling. But like I said, I absolutely love using Copic markers. Next up, this is a bit of a cheat, and this is actually 3 embellishments. These are all from Little Things from Lucy's cards. The first one here is Raindrops. All 3 of these embellishments I really love for clean and simple cards, which is basically what I do. I love them because they're all clear, but they all just give a really nice sort of added detail to a card, but doesn't detract from the actual design of what you've done. So those first ones are Raindrops, and I absolutely love the kind of dome shaped of them. The next ones here are the Iridescent Jewels, and I really love that these come in loads of different sizes. I particularly like using the really tiny ones. These are clear, but they've just got a really nice iridescence to them, so if you want to just add a bit of extra sparkle onto a card, they're really nice for that. And then next up are the Ice Cube Jewels, and these are the same as the iridescent ones, but they don't have the iridescent to them, so they're completely clear, and again they just work really nicely with clean and simple cards. They don't detract from the design at all. I used the Raindrops here on this card that I used the reverse confetti rainbow, and I just thought they worked really nicely as raindrops. Next up, these are the Iridescent Jewels, and they just add a little bit of shimmer onto the card. Again, quite a clean and simple card, but I just love the again added shimmer to them, and this is how I used the ice cube jewels. I did add quite a lot onto this card, but you wouldn't necessarily see them as kind of a busy card because they're so clear, so I loved using those as well. And next I'm going to talk about 5 potential craft products that I'm going to use in 2020. So this first one here is the Arteza gouache. I was kindly given this set from my brother for Christmas, and I'm really looking forward to using gouache. I have got a couple of tubes of gouache from a different company and I really enjoyed using them, but I did want a set of them, you know, obviously to have lots of different colours to be able to use them to colour in images or create backgrounds with them and things. And although I have worked with Arteza in the past, this, like I said, was a present. They didn't send it to me or anything like that, but I really love this set because I'm assuming as the price I've seen is fairly inexpensive. Obviously, like I said, I didn't purchase it myself, but it's a nice kind of starter set for gouache. Gouache is, if you don't already know, is kind of like half between acrylic paint and half watercolour, so looking forward to using those. Next up is the Gemini Mini, and I've been looking for a die cutting machine for a little while now, one to replace my Sizzix Sidekick, and I saw that this was out. I think it's only been out maybe a month or so. I'm not sure it's even in many craft shops at the moment, but I love that it's kind of like a smaller version than the Gemini Junior, and they do have a Gemini Go which is electronic, but I just wanted a little manual one just to have on my desk, and this was kindly given to me again as a Christmas present, this time from my mum, and I'm really looking forward to using it. I've tried it a couple of times and it cuts really nicely. The cutting pads are kind of like a embossing folder. They're plastic, so I'm not sure how long they're going to last, but I think they're fairly inexpensive to purchase. So I'll see as time goes on how much they wear down. But I love this little machine. It sticks to the desk really nicely. It's kind of got like suckers at the bottom, and it stuck really well to my glass mat here, but it did stick really nicely to my desk as well when I tried that out. You can cut various different things with this. There's a shim that comes with it. As you can see, mine was bent. It got bent in the box, but hopefully I can put some books on that and it will flatten out. But I think you can cut like thin dies on it, and I think you can emboss stencils with it and things like that. So I'm going to really look forward to seeing how you can use this. Next up, another Christmas present that I kindly received, and this is the Tailored Expressions masking stencils. These are the rectangular shape, but I know that they have a few different shapes out, and I'm probably going to purchase the other shapes in 2020 as well. I know they have some squares and some circles and things. I have been cutting out my own kind of templates with Mylar, but I love that these are all kind of already done for you. They have some kind of lines on them, some kind of grid lines, so they work really nicely with A2 size panels, but also they have a grid line for a smaller 4" by 5¼ panel as well. So what you do is you just line up the panel on the back with the lines, and then you can stick it down from the back, and then when you flip it over it's centered on your panel, which is really nice, so you don't have to worry whether something's in line or anything like that. I'm probably going to use them a lot for ink blending, but you can obviously use them well for stamping and things like that if you want to just stamp an image in the center of your card, and I do that quite a bit with circles and things. I'm just showing you very briefly here how you can use them with ink blending, and it gives just a really nice look. You've got like the outside is all really nice and white, and then you've got that ink blending on the inside. Next up are Distress Oxide sprays. They came out in 2019, but I didn't actually use them. I purchased this one here I think kind of like mid-December. I saw a video by Jennifer Maguire, of course, and she was using them with snowflakes, and I absolutely fell in love, but I just didn't get a chance to use that one in 2019, so I'm really looking forward to using them in 2020. I did receive a couple more for Christmas presents again, and so these blues are going to work really nicely together, so I'm looking forward to trying those out. Next up is the We Are Memory Keepers foil quill. I actually purchased this back in May, and I didn't end up using it for the first time until 2 days before Christmas. I know that's absolutely awful, but I'm glad I got there in the end, and I have to say I absolutely loved using it. It was really easy to use. I created some tags here. It's very difficult to see. I do apologise for the photo, but I created the names with the foil quill and used some rose gold foil for that, and I just absolutely love how they turned out. And last but not least, this is actually a technique, and I'm looking forward to using colour pencils more in 2020 and kind of improving my skill with colour pencils. Like I said, I gravitate towards Copic markers, and although I absolutely love colour pencils and I used them I think a fair amount in 2019, I didn't use them as much as I wanted to, and I really want to improve my skill of using them. I did get some of these brushes here as a Christmas present as well, and I really love using brushes with Gamsol more so than blending stumps. So I'm trying out this here just to see how well they work. Just like I said, really looking forward to just creating some different kind of colouring mediums and using different colouring mediums and stuff in 2020. But especially I want to improve my skill with coloured pencils. And these are just a couple of examples here of the colour pencil work that I did in 2019. I do like how they came out, but I definitely want to try and improve my skills with them. And these are the Arteza coloured pencils here that I used, and I really liked how they turned out, and the colour pencils are really nice as well. So that was a look at my 5 favourite craft products of 2019, my favourite craft products that I've used throughout the years, and also some potential favourite craft products. Links to the products that I shared will be in the description bar on YouTube and also over on my blog. Wishing everyone a very happy new year to you, and thank you so much for all your support throughout 2019. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.